What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So we're gonna be talking about Jack Ryan season 2. So let's get into it. Now I'm a big fan of Jack Ryan. I love Tom Clancy stuff. I just love Tom Clancy. I love his characters. I like the backstory. I like how he puts a lot of effort into doing the research and all that. Jack Ryan's just the whole Tom Clancy thing is just a great. He's a great author. Does great things. Then Jack Ryan kind of branched off, and he's out there. He's this analyst that becomes CIA, special operative or officer out in the field and stuff like that. And it's really, really cool. It's always been a really cool kind of storyline that they build up with him. So when they came out with the first season of Jack Ryan, I was into it. I was like, heck yeah, man, I'm definitely into it. So I looked at it, and man, it was the first series, guy. The first season was just, I was edge of your seat the whole time. I was into it every single day. I had to watch it. I think I watched the season probably about 4 times by now. Such a great season. So I had high hopes, very, very high hopes for the second season. Very, very high hopes for the second season. So on Halloween night, I was following the main character, or the main actor. I followed him on Instagram, and he says, "Oh, by the way, we're dropping it that night. That night after I got my kids home from Halloween and all that other good stuff, I put them in bed. Jack Ryan season 2 started it. So now it was a little different. Season 2 was a little bit different, just a little bit different. It was still classic Tom Clancy, but it didn't seem as edge of your seat as the first season did. Is the best way to explain it. Now I'm not saying it was a bad series. It was a great season. It's just it was different. It wasn't quite as good as the first season. It was a little rough to get into, and there was a lot of just stuff they're covering in the beginning. And then it finally kind of builds up, and towards the end, and that's when the action comes in. And even then, it wasn't like the best action until the very last episode when the good action comes in. But overall, guys, it was actually a really good series. It was a good series, but it's just for some reason the second season for me, it just wasn't as into it, or it just wasn't as, I'm trying the best way, it wasn't as enjoyable as the first series. Now I understand the first series, he's just starting out and stuff like that, and it's a Middle Eastern case and stuff like that, and he just stumbles on the money and everything's just like works really good. Second season, there seemed to be a lot more character development than the actual conflict. More character development than conflict. And it kind of sucked that they took Kathy out of it, because Kathy from the first season, when I think Jack Ryan, I automatically think Kathy, the doctor, his wife, girlfriend, stuff like that. It kind of sucks that they took her out of it for the second season, but it is what it is. But it's just, it had a different taste to it. Now, what was kind of cool about it, what I kind of liked about it, was that it was the classic Jack Ryan, where he's fighting politics and he's fighting, his own industry, or he's fighting pretty much the American government, not like in a bad way, just like the politics and all that other stuff. And he's just fighting all that stuff that's kind of been against him, that's been kind of against him and not allowing him to reach out and do what he needs to do. So he has to go to this, and he has to make contact, do stuff on his own, and get the approval and push his way through it. And then towards the end, one of his people was a bad guy and stuff like that too. But it was just a good series. It was a good series. It wasn't as fun as the first series, the best way to explain it. I don't know what it was. First season was really great. Second season was good. It just wasn't as good. Now, it was kind of cool because, Greer the entire time kind of reminded me of like the Harrison Ford Greer, was suffering from a heart condition the entire time. So he's like trying to keep it secret, and he's suffering from it, and he's holding everyone back and stuff like that. My guess this will be the last time he ever does field work, especially at the end of that. Sounds like this will be the last time he'll do the field work. Sounds like he's going to start taking the role of what Earl Jones took. I think it's Earl Jones, what he took for the Harrison Ford version of, which is more of an administration role, and a good friend of Jack Ryan, administration role and stuff like that too. So that was kind of cool that he was fighting that the entire time, and they were building up that Jim Greer that I know. You know what I mean? That they were building up that Jim Greer that I know. But like I said, in Jack Ryan, he's a great dude, great character. He did a pretty good job acting in it. Like I said, there was just a little too much character development and not enough storyline, is the best way to explain it. Now, I think it's funny though. I see this in all the different movies and stuff like that. I think it's funny how or all the series and stuff like that. When all the series start out and stuff, they all pretty much start out very similar way, which is they start out with either low-end firearms or high-end firearms, which is kind of funny. Like this first season, it was all about SIG. Everything was SIG, 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 Sauer. And then the second season, there was a little bit of SIG, a little bit of Beretta. Well, there's a little bit of Beretta in the first one. There's a little bit of SIG, a little bit of Beretta. The rest of it was just all Glock. It was just funny. It's like, because the series, they built up enough money, they can go out and buy, stuff on a massive scale. So they got a bunch of Glocks and they got a bunch of ARs. And it was nice seeing, a variety in this series, a nice little variety of the guns. When I have the ARs, there's AKs and stuff like that too. So it was kind of cool. But I just think it was funny how series do that. They start with one type of gun, and then all of a sudden they start building money. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna throw these guns in here now too. So it's just kind of I don't know. I like looking at the guns in the movie, or in the shows and whatever. That's why even like XFiles. When you ever watch XFiles, you're an XFiles fan. They start out with like a little Taurus, Taurus clone of a Beretta, and little Walther or something like that. And then eventually they got their way up to SIG, and then they were carrying SIG for a long. And in the movies they were in the Glock, and it's just kind of funny how you could see how they get enough of the money that they can get stuff on a bigger level, and then everyone has it. More than likely in the first season, everyone was just shooting the same guns. Probably what it was. But this one is this is the same SIG that he was using in that scene, and this is then that scene and stuff like that. But it's just kind of funny watching that stuff in movies. I mean, overall, guys, Jack Ryan, the season 1, season 2, great series, great seasons. Season 1 is rocking. I mean, great season. Season 2 was it was a little bit slower. It was a little bit slower, but it was still good. But what the unique thing about it is that it looks like it's Jack's now becoming more of the field agent. Jack, the more field agent. If you read the books, Jack Ryan Jr., he becomes more of a strictly field agent. He's a smart guy in the office, but he does a lot more field work. And that's kind of what this is turning into. It looks like he's going to be doing a lot more field work, but he's still that really smart guy in the office, but he's going to be out in the field a lot more. So this is his first technical real op, right? Real op, because the first one, it was an op, but he was just, whoa, where are we going? And they just kind of drag him out overseas, and then he started following and learning stuff. But this one, he's like specifically becoming that field operative. So it's kind of cool what he's doing that. So he's that genius behind the desk, and then when he gets out in the field, he's the guy you can't stop. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me, guys. If you like this content, go check me out on Patreon. You can help support this channel. The link will be down in the description below. And remember, guys, it is our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.